What if getting a visa to the United States suddenly became almost impossible? Not because you personally did something wrong, but because of the passport you carry? Under President Donald Trump, the United States has introduced some of the toughest immigration and visa restrictions in recent years. And while these policies are officially presented as measures involving national security, screening, vetting, and immigration control, they are having a major impact on people from several Asian countries. In this video, we're counting down 10 Asian countries whose citizens have faced some of the toughest U.S. immigration or visa restrictions under the Trump administration. And number 1 may surprise you. Before we begin, there's an important distinction. The U.S. government does not officially describe these countries as places whose people are simply not wanted. Instead, the administration says these restrictions are based on security concerns, insufficient information sharing, screening problems, immigration enforcement, or concerns about visa and welfare systems. Some countries face complete visa suspensions. Others face partial restrictions, while additional countries have been affected by immigrant visa processing pauses. So let's look at the countries, and what the policies actually mean. Number 10. Thailand. Thailand is one of the Asian countries affected by the Trump administration's broader immigrant visa policies. Thailand has not been placed in the same category as countries facing a complete travel ban. Instead, Thai nationals have been included among countries affected by the State Department's pause on certain immigrant visa issuances. That distinction matters. A person from Thailand who wants to visit America for tourism is not automatically treated the same way as someone seeking an immigrant visa. But for people hoping to permanently move to the United States, these policies can create serious uncertainty. And that's the bigger story here. Trump's immigration strategy isn't limited to people crossing the southern U.S. border. It is also changing how people outside America approach the legal immigration system. Number 9. Pakistan. Pakistan is another major Asian country affected by the administration's immigrant visa processing policies. The United States has a large Pakistani-American community, and thousands of people have family, business, educational, and professional connections between the two countries. But the Trump administration's 2026 policy placed Pakistan among nationalities whose immigrant visa issuance was paused. That doesn't mean every Pakistani traveler is banned from entering America. Instead, the policy primarily affects people seeking immigrant visas, people who are trying to move permanently to the United States. For families waiting for reunification, even a temporary pause can mean months of uncertainty. Number 8. Bangladesh. Bangladesh also appears on the U.S. State Department's list of nationalities affected by the immigrant visa issuance pause. Bangladesh has millions of people living abroad, and the United States has become an important destination for Bangladeshi families, students, professionals, and immigrants. But the new policy adds another layer of difficulty for people seeking permanent immigration. Again, this is not the same thing as a blanket ban on all Bangladeshi citizens. The important point is that immigrant visa processing has been restricted, making the path to permanent residence more difficult for affected applicants. Number 7. Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan is a particularly interesting case. Under the 2026 U.S. restrictions, immigrant visa issuance for Turkmen nationals has been partially suspended. That makes Turkmenistan different from countries facing complete restrictions. The United States has argued that its immigration system needs stronger screening and better information before certain nationals can receive visas. For ordinary applicants, however, the result can be frustrating. Even when someone has a legitimate reason to immigrate, such as family reunification, government restrictions can make the process much more complicated. Number 6. Yemen. Yemen is much further up the list because the country is subject to a full suspension of visa issuance, with limited exceptions. The U.S. government has cited national security, screening, and information sharing concerns as part of the reasoning behind these restrictions. For Yemeni nationals hoping to travel to America, the consequences can be enormous. The policy can affect students, families, workers, and people trying to escape difficult circumstances. There are exceptions in certain categories, including some diplomatic cases and other narrowly defined situations. But for many ordinary applicants, the road to a U.S. visa has become extremely difficult. Number 5. Syria. Syria is another Asian country facing some of the toughest U.S. entry restrictions. The Trump administration's expanded restrictions include Syria among countries subject to full entry and visa limitations. For years, Syrians have faced enormous challenges because of war, displacement, and political instability. Now, U.S. immigration restrictions add another barrier for people seeking to enter America. The government says its policy is about security and screening. Critics, however, argue that broad nationality-based restrictions can also affect people who have no connection to terrorism or criminal activity. That debate remains one of the most controversial parts of America's immigration policy. Number 4. Iran. Iran is another country facing full U.S. visa suspension under the current restrictions. Iran and the United States have had decades of political tension, and immigration policy has frequently been caught in the middle of that relationship. Under the current rules, visa issuance for Iranian nationals is broadly suspended, although limited exceptions exist. One notable exception involves certain ethnic and religious minorities facing persecution in Iran. There can also be exceptions for dual nationals and other narrowly defined categories. But for ordinary Iranian applicants, the restrictions represent one of the biggest obstacles to entering the United States legally. And this is where immigration policy becomes more than paperwork. For families divided between Iran and America, visa restrictions can mean years of separation. Number 3. Laos. Laos is another Asian country currently subject to a full suspension of U.S. visa issuance under the 2026 restrictions. The suspension applies broadly across immigrant and non-immigrant categories, although the government has established limited exceptions. This means Laos is not simply dealing with a slowdown. For many categories of applicants, the United States has actually suspended visa issuance. The administration argues that the restrictions are connected to screening, vetting, and national security concerns. But for ordinary Laotian citizens, the practical question is much simpler: can I still get a U.S. visa? For many applicants, the answer is now much more complicated than it was before. Number 2. Myanmar. Myanmar, also known as Burma, is one of the Asian countries facing some of the strongest U.S. restrictions. The United States currently includes Myanmar among the countries subject to full visa and entry restrictions. And the situation has become even more significant because of Myanmar's continuing political crisis. In August 2026, U.S. federal judges allowed the Trump administration to move forward with ending temporary protected status for Myanmar nationals, potentially affecting people who had previously received protection from deportation. That means the issue isn't only about people trying to enter America. It can also affect some people who are already living inside the United States. For Myanmar nationals, that creates a very different kind of uncertainty, one involving visas, immigration status, employment, and the possibility of deportation. Number 1. Afghanistan. Afghan nationals are among those facing some of the most extensive U.S. visa and entry restrictions. Under the current proclamation, Afghanistan is subject to a full suspension of visa issuance, with limited exceptions. That is especially significant because the United States has had a long military and political relationship with Afghanistan. For years, special immigration programs helped certain Afghans who had worked with the U.S. government. But the current restrictions have made immigration pathways far more complicated. The administration argues that stronger screening and vetting are necessary to protect national security. Supporters say the government has a responsibility to know who is entering the country. Critics argue that broad restrictions can prevent legitimate applicants, including families and vulnerable people, from reaching the United States. And that is the central controversy surrounding Trump's immigration agenda. So there you have it. 10 Asian countries that have been among the most affected by Trump's current U.S. immigration and visa restrictions. Thailand, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Turkmenistan, Yemen, Syria, Iran, Laos, Myanmar, and Afghanistan. But remember, these policies are not all identical. Some countries face full visa suspensions. Some face partial restrictions. And others are affected by separate immigrant visa processing policies. The U.S. government says these measures are designed to strengthen national security, improve screening, and prevent immigration abuse. Critics argue that nationality-based restrictions can punish ordinary people who have never committed a crime. Whatever your political opinion may be, one thing is clear. America's immigration system is changing, and millions of people around the world are watching closely. What do you think? Are these restrictions necessary for national security, or do they go too far? Let us know your opinion in the comments. And if you want more videos explaining the world's biggest immigration, political, and geopolitical stories, make sure to subscribe to Island News Network. Thanks for watching.